Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day. Severe weather hits parts of southeastern KELOLAND overnight, nearly 3 weeks since the derecho that damaged power lines, trees, and homes. Our news crews found storm damage all over Sioux Falls.
On the east side, an RV was blown over, surrounded by trees that were also knocked down near Sycamore Avenue and 26th Street.
A viewer also sent us pictures of trees and branches that were blocking parts of Minnesota Avenue. And on the western side of the city, we found a street light at 41st and Shirley that was twisted in the wind.
The emergency manager for Sioux Falls says he's received reports of trees and power lines down across the city, along with some flooded intersections. Sioux Falls Fire Rescue is urging people to avoid any unnecessary travel.
Thousands of people woke up without power this morning in southeastern South Dakota and southwestern Minnesota.
And now let's get a check of our weather ahead with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Are we going to see more storms in our forecast, Brian?
Unfortunately, most likely there will be some more storms. We've had, of course, some ongoing activity early this morning behind all that severe weather that we had overnight. Now, as we clean the slate, we start again here. We've got a new round of severe weather today. Now, the focus here, this is the main storm. So once this comes out, it'll be it. Tonight, we'll be able to close the books on this. But today, we got to get through today, and that's a moderate risk of severe weather for Watertown, Brookings, Sisseton, over to Ortonville, a big chunk of western and west central Minnesota. Sioux Falls is in the enhanced category, which is still of heightened concern. We've got many reasons to be watching the weather today, all the way to Yankton and Mitchell and beyond to the west, as that enhanced risk is quite a large footprint across South Dakota. In particular, the tornado risk is probably our #1 concern today with any of these storms. There's a tremendous amount of rotation available for these storms to tap into. So be on the lookout, and we will have the latest details about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Brian. With more severe weather in the forecast today, make sure to download the KELOLAND Storm Tracker app to your smart devices.
You'll receive alerts for warnings and watches in your area, and you can check out the radar to see when the storms will hit your city.
More than 2 weeks after a tornado tore through Castlewood, people can now start submitting applications for the damage they received. This is part of the Castlewood Area Recovery Fund. To start the process, you should call the 211 Helpline Center.
A staff member will help you complete a damage assessment. Immediate needs applications are due June 10th, and long-term needs are due July 15th. Minnesota officials are urging people to be safe out on the water, with many people planning boating trips for the holiday weekend. The Department of Natural Resources says boating has become even more popular in recent years. With that comes a rise in deadly incidents on the water.
Minnesota recorded 18 boating fatalities last year, the most since 2005. The DNR's Recreation Safety Outreach Coordinator says most fatalities involve people not wearing a life jacket. Another safety reminder for the Memorial Day holiday is your food. Health experts say hot and humid weather creates the right environment for foodborne illness. You should keep cold foods and hot foods hot.
Also, make sure your hands and surfaces are clean before and after preparing food. Once the meal is done, get everything back in the fridge. Don't leave food out for longer than 2 hours.
The CDC estimates 48 million Americans get sick, 128,000 are hospitalized, and 3,000 die from foodborne illnesses every year. Taps Across America has become an annual event for many across the country.
At approximately 3 p.m. sharp local time, people are encouraged to play taps to honor the fallen for Memorial Day. And at Fleet Farm stores today, you'll be able to experience just that. The event is open to the public outside of the stores at 3 p.m. to observe a moment of silence, followed by a bugler sounding taps.
If you decide to partake in Taps Across America, we'd love to see it.
You can send video or pictures to youshare@keloland.com.
South Dakota students will be part of a Memorial Day parade in our nation's capital later today.
Members of the Harrisburg High School Band will be included in a parade marching down Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C. KELOLAND Media Group will be airing the National Memorial Day Parade on Sunday, June 26th on KELO Extra. The program will air from 12 to 2 p.m.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens.
All right, as we check out weather, we want to give you the latest information. That's a really big piece of the forecast today as you check in on things. We're going to be updating both online, on our social media accounts, and also on air as needed. Now, this is how we start the day here. We've got clusters of rain out there, some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, the Sioux Falls area has seen some of that, but it appears that the temperatures will be warming here as we get through the late morning. Now, notice that we have rain going on, not just in the southeast, but also farther west into western South Dakota. But all the weather in the western regions of KETHLAND today, we're not worried about that as far as severe weather goes. That's not the case. However, things get really interesting by about 12 o'clock. And I'll pause this map so you can see what we've got going on here. A boundary probably lighting up with additional thunderstorms north of Sioux Falls around Brookings. Maybe some back building here down west of Yankton by midday. That's important to watch because it does play a role in reinforcing where these particular areas of changing winds are. And that's what we watch when we predict tornadoes. And certainly you look at this map getting past 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. This is a problem that we will need to watch. Any of these storm cells that develop southward toward Yankton, if that verifies, if this is what happens, we will likely have tornadoes with this activity. And I will not mince words about that. That's how this thing will likely go if those storms pop up. Now, that's, of course, still dependent upon the morning activity on radar. So it's not a guarantee that all that's going to fill in like that. But the farther north and east you live toward Watertown, it's more likely some of these cells are going to regroup and then head that direction, even with some of the rain-contaminated air. But I do expect Watertown can still warm to at least the low to mid-70s. And again, as I play that out on Futurecast, it is clear to me that the model is really trying to go gun-ho here on some of these thunderstorms. And these are storms that we don't want to mess around with baseball-sized hail. Even the possibility that one or two of these today in eastern South Dakota could produce long-track, violent tornadoes. And I don't say that very often, if ever. So this is a day you definitely want to stay tuned to the weather. And the tornado risk, as shown there, if this all comes together, it's going to be most of it after 12 o'clock north of Sioux Falls. Well, we're here. We're going to keep you safe and ahead of the weather today. Let's recap your forecast. And the good news of all of this is once we get through today, the weather's going to calm down. 70 on Tuesday, 67 Wednesday, and then fairly quiet. Maybe some rain chances by the weekend, but we're not looking at any immediate severe weather. Aberdeen will cool off too the next couple of days, and then things are maybe looking a little more unsettled by day 6 and day 7, but we will be more concerned about that at a later time. We've got to get through the severe weather today. Now, obviously a lot of resources at your fingertips. There's some brand new stuff with our Storm Center update. You'll want to check that out. Of course, our live radar images at KETHLAND.com, our Storm Tracker app. There's multiple ways to get weather information today. Make a plan, stick to the plan, and stay safe, and we will keep you posted.